Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
We're going to continue talking about our work of literature for the month of November. It's a novel, and it's entitled To Kill a Mockingbird. It's all about killing a mockingbird.
Well, today we're going to continue on with the plot. When we last left you, Atticus had been assigned to defend a guy named Tom Robinson. We're going to talk about what Tom did, the trial, the results of the trial. And also, we're going to find out that Scout and Jem get beaten up by a mean mob. So we're going to continue on with the plot today. And then, of course, in day 3, we're going to talk more about the author, who has a different kind of name too, Harper Lee. And then talk about more of the themes, but that's in day 3. Right now, we're going to read through day 2. As Tom Robinson's trial grows near, Scout and Jem attend church with Calpurnia, who is black. The children are warmly embraced and welcomed by the black community there. The night before the trial, a lynch mob surrounds the jail where Tom Robinson is being held, with only Atticus standing guard. Scout, who has sneaked out to find her father, recognizes one of the men in the crowd and asks about his son, who is her classmate. Ashamed, the man disperses the mob and they leave. At the trial, Atticus presents a powerful defense, making it clear that Tom is innocent and that the Ewells are lying about the incident. Nevertheless, the all-white jury finds Tom guilty. Jem and Dill are both deeply distressed by the racism and injustice they witness at the trial. What's worse, Tom attempts to flee prison and is shot dead. Bob Ewell, furious at being humiliated in court, later spits in Atticus's face. The Finches' lives seem to return to normal, but on Halloween night, Jem and Scout are assaulted while walking home. Scout can't see much due to her costume, but she hears Jem's arm break and then sees someone else rush in to help. The figure picks up Jem to carry him home, and Scout follows. Once there, she realizes it was Boo Radley who saved their lives, and Bob Ewell who attacked them. Boo stabbed Bob to death while defending the children, but the sheriff decides to keep Boo's involvement quiet. Scout understands, remarking to Atticus that punishing Boo would be like shooting a mockingbird. She recognizes that all this time, the strange, mysterious Boo has truly been a caring neighbor to them.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's continue talking about our lesson for today. Now, where we left off, we were talking about the fact that Tom Robinson, a black man, was accused of raping a girl by the name of Mayella Ewell, okay? And we've got Atticus, who is the father of the 2 kids in our story. He's going to defend Tom Robinson and try to get him off so that he doesn't have to be punished for this crime. So let's again summarize what's happening here so far. As Tom Robinson's trial grows near, Scout and Jem attend church with Calpurnia, who is black. Okay, so Calpurnia, again, is the cook who is helping Atticus raise his kids, Scout and Jem. Now, the trial is coming closer. Of course, Tom Robinson is accused of this crime, but you need to have a trial first to find out whether someone's guilty or innocent. So it's getting closer and closer to the time for the trial. And then they go to church, okay, which means they go to a church service in their small town, probably on a Sunday.
It says the children are warmly embraced and welcomed by the black community there. Now, yeah, they could give them hugs, but here it means even more than just like hugging the kids. It just means as they come in, everyone is really warm and welcoming and friendly, and the kids know that they're loved by these people there at the church. So they're warmly embraced and welcomed by the Black community there. Yeah, you can, maybe you move to a new school and it feels like your class just really embraces you. They're not all hugging you. It just means they accept you. They're happy you're there. And that's how we're using this particular verb too. Now, the night before the trial, a lynch mob surrounds the jail where Tom Robinson is being held. And only Atticus is there standing guard protecting him. Now, a lynch mob is a horrible group of people that come together and they're intent on killing someone, usually by hanging them, but they could kill them some other way too. They are intent on killing someone without having gone through a trial. So they think that person's guilty. They don't care about waiting for a jury or a trial. They are just going to take care of killing that person because they think that's justice. That's a lynch mob. Well, this lynch mob surrounds the jail because they are going to take care of Tom Robinson before the trial even is over. But luckily, Tom has his attorney there, Atticus, who's a good man, and he's standing guard protecting him.
Yep, hopefully justice will be served here. So again, the lynch mob comes there to the jail and Tom Robinson is in trouble there. And Atticus is the only person there standing guard. He's the only person between the mob and Tom Robinson. Well, Scout, who has sneaked out to find her father, recognizes one of the men in the crowd and asks about his son, who is her classmate. Okay, so again, she sees one of the men in the crowd, one of the men in the lynch mob, and she recognizes him. Hey, I know him. I actually know his child there. I know his son because we go to school together. He's my classmate. And then ashamed, however, the man disperses the mob and they leave. So I guess because Scout recognized this guy in the mob, the man was ashamed for some reason. He was不好意思, ashamed.
Well, they have their faces covered. So they think they're anonymous. They think nobody knows who they are. They shouldn't be doing this, so lynch mobs always hide their identity. But little Scout, she recognizes everybody.
Oh, so she was, or they were dressed up like the KKK or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But she recognizes them, he's embarrassed, and the mob disperses. So if something disperses, it just kind of breaks up and everybody goes home. That happens a lot of times after protests. You get lots of people coming down and say, we want justice, we want change. And then they get tired and it gets late and they're hungry and they all disperse. They kind of separate and they go home. So that was the end of that. I guess Tom Robinson was saved from the lynch mob
that night. So at the trial, Atticus presents a really powerful defense. And if you haven't read the book, we highly encourage you to read it. It's really good. We won't tell you what the defense is, but in the defense that he presents, he makes it very clear that Tom is innocent. It couldn't have been Tom. I won't tell you why. You need to read the book. And the Yules are lying about the incident. Remember, it's Mayella Yule, the daughter, who was raped. But it's her father, Bob, who said it was Tom who raped her. And Atticus makes it very clear when he presents his defense that Bob Yule is lying about who raped his daughter. So, sadly, though, nevertheless, it says it doesn't matter, even though the defense was really good. The all-white jury, those are the 12 people that decide whether you're innocent or guilty, they find Tom guilty. That's just the phrase we use when you find someone guilty or not guilty. We always use that verb find. You find someone guilty or not guilty. We actually never find anybody innocent. There are only two choices. You're either guilty or not guilty because sometimes they could be guilty, but the evidence isn't strong enough.
Right. I guess they can't prove the innocence.
No.
They can just prove that they're not guilty. So, indeed, in this particular case, the jury's all white, and they've probably made up their minds ahead of time. So, it was really kind of a waste of time to have the trial in the first place.
I bet people on the jury were also in the lynch mob.
They probably all knew what really happened. They were in the lynch mob. They probably know who the real rapist is. But they thought, what the heck? We can just pin the blame on a black guy. We always do that. And so they found him guilty. And Jem and Dill are both deeply distressed by the racism and injustice they witness at the trial. So these are two young kids. They're idealistic and they think, hey, this should not be happening. This is an injustice. He's innocent, but they just found him guilty because he's black. So that's racism. And it's also an injustice. Justice was not served. The wrong person is being punished, and the guilty person got away with it.
Yeah, it says here they witnessed this injustice at the trial. So if you witness something, guys, you see something with your own eyes. Witness can be a noun. Oh, he's our witness at the trial. Or he is going to witness at the trial what he saw. You can use it as a verb too. We're going to talk more about this, guys, but first it's probably a good time to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们要继续来看这个文学单元，我们要讨论这一本书。To Kill a Mockingbird 梅岗城故事。我们首先知道，还记得 Scout 他们家里其实是有个黑人作为他们的厨师，这个人是 Calpurnia。好，那提到这个 Calpurnia， 你如果看句构，它后面有个逗点在接 Who is black， 所以一而再，再而三，我们一直重复，这个是非限定用法。而且你往下读哦，通常你谈到专有名词，你只是要补充说明这个专有名词，不管是人或是地点，它有什么补充说明的点，你在后面接的就是非限定用法的关系子句。好，这又是一个例子。再往下读，我们提到这些小孩子呢，那他其实因为他们跟这一位女厨师其实交情非常好，所以说在黑人的社区里面也备受喜爱。那就是那个晚上，在这个Tom Robinson 要被审判之前的那个晚上，发生了一个重要的事件，也就是说，有一群暴民，他们其实是想要把这个 Tom Robinson 就用私刑解决掉。不过，我们记得 Scout 的爸爸就是律师，所以他当天就在监狱的外面亲自在那边守着。好。我们提到这里，我们要看一下文法哦。文法里面提到，Atticus 他在外面守卫 with only， 我们注意到 with， 其实这个介系词常常有一个用法，就是它后面加一个受词，受词再加一个补语，然后它就是描述那个状况，当时的情形，所以这个情况就是只有Atticus 他人在外面守卫。好，那我们看到这个 with 受词，那后面的 V I N G standing 当然就是那个受词补语，修饰 Atticus 他所做的事。好，再来往下，没错，看到 Scout 逗点 Who， 这重复第几次了呢？好，我们再往下，下面就说，其实这些小孩子他们很好奇，结果 Scout 他就发现了，在那群暴民里面有一位，好像他认得，原来那是他同学的父亲。好，那再看到 his son 逗点 who， 这不也就是我们说的吗？重复了在这一段的第3次，非限定用法。好，我们继续往下读，下面就说到这个审判。那 Atticus 当然就是 Tom Robinson 的律师，他认为 Tom 是无辜的，他要证明 Tom 是无辜的，而且呢，他还要证明第2件事，什么事？就是白人这一家 Ewells 他们是说谎的。那我们注意到这个地方，在结构里头 making it clear， 我们知道 make something clear 就是说，你要把事情弄清楚、说明白。但是这个 it make it clear， 它的 it 指的就是后面结构里面的 that 子句。那比较特别的就是这里有2个 that 子句呢。原来它是 that Tom is innocent and that the Ewells are lying about the incident。 所以呢，说起来这2件事就是他想要让大家知道、弄清楚的。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's continue to summarize our featured work of literature for the month of November, To Kill a Mockingbird. Remember, you don't want to kill a mockingbird because they're just songbirds and they're just singing for us, so you should leave them alone. It's a crime to kill a mockingbird. We'll find out what that means in the story later on. But where we left off, there was a trial, and Tom was innocent, but he was still found guilty by the all-white jury. Jem and Dill, the kids of the lawyer, are very upset about this because there's obvious racism there, and this is an injustice which they witnessed at the trial. And what's worse, even worse than that, Tom Robinson, the black man who was just found guilty, even though he's innocent, he attempts to flee prison. He attempts to escape prison and is shot dead. So here we've got the word flee, which is spelled F-L-E-E. As a verb, it means you try to escape from a situation. If somebody tries to hurt you, it's probably best to try to flee the situation, to run away instead of risking getting hurt. So Tom realizes that, hey, this is an injustice. I'm going to try to get out of prison here. But that's the perfect excuse the prison guards were looking for. They shot him dead.
Horrible. So Bob Ewell is furious at being humiliated in court, and he later spits in Atticus's face. Now, if you're furious, you're extremely angry. It's almost like you've lost control. You're so angry. And what happened to him is he was humiliated in court. If you humiliate somebody, it means you embarrass them or make them feel so ashamed and foolish for something they did or said. And it's really embarrassing because you're doing it in public. So he is feeling humiliated by what was said in court. We won't tell you what that is. And he goes up to Atticus and he spits in his face. He's such a creep. Now, the Finches, that's Atticus and his kids, their lives seem to return to normal. But time goes on and Halloween comes up and they're dressed in their costumes like kids do around Halloween so they can go trick-or-treating. And they are assaulted while walking home. When you see this word assaulted, it means someone has attacked you, physically attacked you, and is trying to hurt you. Now, remember, Scout, at this point, was like 6 or 7 years old. Can you imagine? They attacked this little girl who's in a costume, and her costume makes it difficult for her to see who's attacking them because there's something over her head. And her brother Jem is assaulted too. So she can't see much because of her costume, but she hears her brother's arm break. So whoever's attacking them actually takes Jem's arm and just cracks it in two. And then she sees someone else rush in to help them, but again, she can't quite see who that is trying to help them.
Yeah, maybe she was dressed up as a ghost or something, so she's
so.
got a sheet over her head. I don't remember the details from the book here, but she does know someone is there, so this figure or this person that she's unable to identify picks up Jem to carry him home, and Scout follows. So this particular person is trying to help out. This person carries her brother Jem home, and she follows. And once there, she realizes it was Boo Radley who saved their lives and Bob Ewell who attacked them. Okay, so yes, indeed, she finds out the truth here. They were attacked by the Ewell family, Bob Ewell, the father the child who was supposedly raped. Well, she was raped, but they accused the wrong person. And, of course, they caused trouble here by trying to attack kids. Hey, these are lowlifes here, trying to attack young, innocent kids here. But Boo Radley came to the rescue here. He rescued them, and now Scout knows what he did.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Well, he rushes in to rescue them, and to do that, he has to hurt the guy attacking them, and that's Bob. So Boo has a knife with him, and he stabs Bob to death while he's defending the children. But the sheriff, it's kind of like a policeman, but a policeman who works in the country. We call them sheriffs. If they're in the city, we refer to them more as police. So the sheriff decides, Boo's not... Boo is mentally disabled. He's not able to think like an adult. So he wants to protect Boo. And it doesn't really help to tell everybody, yeah, Boo killed Bob, because he was really only defending the kids when he killed Bob. So he was, I think he's innocent there. So he doesn't want anyone to know that Boo was involved, that he was there at all. So he keeps it quiet. And Scout, being the smart little girl that she is, she understands why. She compares Boo to the mockingbirds that her dad told her never to kill because they were only there to make beautiful music for us to listen to. They weren't hurting anybody. Well, Boo was only there to help those kids. He didn't mean to hurt anybody, but he had to kill Bob because Bob was going after the kids.
Right, so she understands the meaning of the phrase, do not kill the mockingbird, do not shoot the mockingbird, because punishing him would be like shooting a mockingbird, and that's not right. So she recognizes that all this time, the strange, mysterious Boo has truly been a caring neighbor to them. So she recognizes this. She finally is able to remember this, and she knows that all this time, Boo Radley, even though he's kind of a special needs person, she does recognize his contribution. Now, remember up above here, it does say that Scout understands, and then she remarked to Atticus. To remark here just means to make a comment about something. So again, she's able to talk to her father, and she says, hey, I understand why the sheriff decided to keep this quiet about Boo, to not accuse him of the crime. She understands why, and she remarks to her father, she basically comments to him that to kill him or to punish him would be just like shooting a mockingbird, and that's just no fun. You don't want to shoot special needs people, and you don't want to shoot mockingbirds.
Yeah, we often will use the adjective remarkable. If something's remarkable, it's quite amazing. But here, if you just remark upon something or someone has a remark they want to add, it doesn't give you the sense that it's positive or negative. They just have a comment. But if you do use remarkable as an adjective, that means it's pretty amazing, pretty cool. So there's a difference between those depending how you use them. So remark can be a verb or a noun. Remarkable, though, remember, it's a little bit more, it's very positive. Whereas remark, if you want to remark on something or you have a remark you want to add, people don't know if it's negative or positive. So yeah, she is really a smart little girl. She remembered what her dad taught them about not shooting their air guns at the mockingbirds. Don't kill the mockingbirds. They're not hurting anybody. They're just making life, better for all of us because of their pretty songs.
Exactly. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of the Carolina parakeet, which was shot and hunted until it went extinct. So hopefully that won't happen to the mockingbird here. But with a book like this going around, people will always be reminded not to shoot a mockingbird, and they will not go extinct. I did want to say here that the fact that Scout understands this whole situation is her coming-of-age story. That's why we're describing this this as a coming-of-age story here. She's growing up, and I suppose Jem is growing up to a certain extent too, by seeing the evil in people, that they would falsely accuse a man of a crime that he didn't commit, and then he gets shot in the end anyway. That's something that most teenagers don't have to deal with, so I guess Scout has to grow up pretty fast here to understand how the world of adults really works and how screwed up it can be from time to time. But I guess there is a bright side to the story, as she does realize that Boo Radley was actually a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, remember they described him as being kind of odd, reclusive, but also we're describing him as being mysterious, which is they didn't really know everything about him. And because he was hardly ever allowed to come out of the house, they couldn't really talk to him, but they know now that he rescued them, he saved their lives. He also was the one leaving those cute little treasures in the tree for them, which is wonderful. And now that his bad dad is dead, maybe Boo will have a better life.
Unfortunately, we cannot bring Tom Robinson back from the dead, so still justice was not served.
It's sad.
And there are lots of other examples of this happening all the time, or at least did in the past quite a bit, and less so now, but still going on. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
好，我们继续读这篇文章。比较令人觉得难过的就是这个陪审团是 all white。意思就是通通都是白人，那这样子一来对 Tom 当然非常的不利，他们就是认定 Tom 是有罪的。好，那在后面接下来就告诉大家这个事情有个大转折，因为 Tom 很不幸的，他想要逃离监狱，他觉得他是没有罪的，可是他待在监狱跟逃出来一样都得死，后来逃离监狱却被枪毙了。好，那我们看到这里故事还没有结束，下面这一段就告诉大家，感觉这个事件过去了，但是呢 The Finches 也就是我们知道 Scout父亲还有哥哥这一家人呢，还在为这件事情受到困扰。为什么？我们记得这个白人，也就是控诉 Tom Robinson 有罪的这个白人家，这个爸爸，他呢是想要复仇的，所以接下来这段就告诉你他怎么样找机会要下手。而在这一个后面的事件里面，记得 Boo Radley 他们这些小孩子在这一次被袭击的经验里面，发现原来 Boo Radley 就是救他们的人，保护他们的人。好，我们今天的故事先谈到这边，我们下一次再继续聊。
That's all for today, but please join us again next time because we still have another day to talk about To Kill a Mockingbird. We'll talk about the book when it was published and the author herself. So please join us then. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.